black should remember that black should not make a silly move, something like, suppose if white makes a move, a random move, and just remember that black should never play something like this. Okay, now this is a big mistake. Why this is a mistake? Because the idea is white can go rook to h8, and I'm trying to promote next move, guys. It's very important. You think that, okay, you're going to capture it, but now I have skewered. Rook h7 check, wherever the king goes, bye bye. Hi Shadak. So guys, this is the position. So today we are doing the rook endgames, and this is the position. What you have to understand, that black is fine if black keeps the king on either of the two squares, either on h7 or g7, because black can just keep playing like that, because you cannot go rook h8. When black goes wrong is if black starts playing something like, no, Adav, there is no way to win this. Suppose if black makes a silly move, suppose if black comes up, obviously black has blundered because rook g8 check, and now I promote, and now I win this game. Okay, but black will never blunder. If black is playing perfect chess, he can just play h7, g7, h7, g7, and you will find 50 moves. You can try for 50 moves, you'll realize it's not possible to win this. Okay, he'll just keep on playing like this. As soon as the king gets too much up, checks from behind, checks will start coming to the king, because the board is totally open, and again rook goes behind the pawn. So this position is a draw. Anyone having any doubts in this position, you can ask me in the chat. Otherwise I'm going to show a different one. Today's class is going to be based only on this position, so it's good that you remember it. And those who are even curious, you can even take the screenshot, because this position is one of the most famous positions of rook endgames. Very famous. I call it as attacker's traffic. Why I call it as attacker's traffic? Because white is the attacking side. White's rook is the one creating a traffic jam. So it is called as attacker's traffic. But you won't find attacker's traffic in any books. It's the way how I call it. Okay? Okay. Now, is it clear to everyone that this is a draw? You just make sure you should not make your king go closer to the pawn as black. Just make sure don't chase the pawn with the king. The moment you do that, you blunder everything. Because now rook h8 happens. And now you have just made the blunder. Because now, even whatever you do, I have this. And now you lose. So just make sure that the kings, till the point the king stays on g7 and h7, this is a draw. Now, this is one of the theory that the king has to stay on g7 and h7 only. I will use this theory to now starting to improvise on this theory. Now let's go back to the second position. Now this time I'm having this pawn. Now even this is a draw, because suppose if I start pushing the pawn, he goes h7, he goes g7, and now should black cut the pawn? No, just don't be greedy for the pawn to cut it, because this is what white wants, to give a free check and then promote. But after this happens, just make sure now the king cannot go here. So you don't have to play with the king at all. Just move, do with random moves with the rook. Now also don't be greedy for this guy. This is again a blunder. Remember, because now no one is doing the a7. So I'll take and I'll make the queen. Now this is the way I win. Okay. Now the idea is, after this, okay, white has no other moves. White will have to just play with the king. Rook has to just move from black. So whatever move you do, suppose if king is again coming too close, just keep playing normal moves. The moment you realize the king is coming way too close, run. But on the same file. He starts coming up, come back. He starts going up, checks from behind. Checks from behind, and again go e6. This is again a draw. Now remember, if I can do something in which the king can go f7, then it is always a win. This is the third example. This time I'm having the f pawn. So you should remember, guys, the theory is that in the case of G pawn, it's fine. You cannot win the G with the G pawn. But in the case of F pawn, now things change in the case of F pawn, because if I keep on repeating the same thing, now this happens. And this is where black is lost, because if black tries to cut it, we have rook to F8 check. If black goes here, we have rook H8. I'm trying to promote, so you take me, I take this and that, and this is a win. So black will lose in the case of extra B pawn, C pawn, D pawn, E pawn, F pawn, but black can hold the position in the case of H pawns and G pawn. Is it clear to everyone? If yes, just show me the thumbs up and we are going to do the next position. Clear to everyone? Okay, all right. Now, just remember, don't forget that only the G and H pawns will draw. Now I will improve, I'll increase the number of pawns on the board. So this time, okay, let me just teach you why was I saying that even these guys will win. So suppose let's take the example of this thing. Now what will I do? I'll move it up. You go back, I'll go up now. Now see, what happens? Rook wants to check you from behind, but this time it's not getting possible because of the pawn is creating a backward shield, you know. Now suppose if you try to go here, I'll push the pawn. Or maybe even better, you know, bye-bye, boom, I have the promotion now. So you cannot do that. If you go H7, fine, push the pawn. You keep rotating, I'll go here. You keep rotating, I'll go up. Keep on doing the same thing, I don't care much. I go here, and now I go backwards, and this time, like suppose if you try to do anything else, I'll go here. And I don't know what can you do actually. I go here, check, I go here, check, I go here, check, and it's very funny, check, and there are no checks anymore, because now one of the pawns is going to promote. Suppose if you try to say fine, I'll go behind you like this, but remember guys, now you cannot save this guy. I mean even I can just promote it. So I hope this is also clear. This is kind of fairly simple than the rest of the positions. This is very simple. That you have the pawn, don't push it all the way, use it as a shield to move the king. Okay, otherwise your king will be all in the checks from behind. I hope this is clear to everyone. Okay, now let's go to this position. Now this is where the real discussion starts. So enough of the theory. The time is now for the application. Okay, so this is where the real theory starts. It's white to play. Now remember guys, I have told you that only F pawn will create a win, and something like this, if you push, he goes back. Okay, and now you should understand H pawn is a draw pawn. So suppose if you do something like this now, and I take and take, you can try a million times, you won't be able to win this. Make sense? Because I've shown it already that if you're having the H pawn, you won't be able to push it. So what is the first move? Should I? Yes, Shrishti. Doubts? Okay, so should I push F pawn or should I push H pawn? I should push H pawn, because he will cut me. I'm fine. Okay, cut me, fine. Okay, and now he's saying, okay, one check for you, I'll go back. Okay, he says fine, I'll repeat now. I'll say fine, you can repeat as long as you want. And he says I'll keep on repeating. I'll say fine, do whatever you feel like. One check maybe, I don't know what else. Suppose if he keeps on repeating, I'll go towards the rook. He keeps on repeating, I'll go towards here, and finally the rook has to decide. So rook goes up, and now I go, because I want to get this guy. Only then the F pawn will start pushing. Suppose he goes, he says fine, I don't want to let you to cross the line. Hit. He goes here, close, check, close. And now question, can black black actually cut the pawn?
No.
Of course no. Because if black cuts the pawn, suddenly a7 is available and we go check, there and promote. That's it. Okay? And this is not happening. Suppose after this, whatever he does, suppose he keeps on waiting, yeah? I go here, he says fine. Why not just have a taste of check? I'll say fine. Okay? Check. I'll say fine. And now, this pawn. And do you remember now what the pawn wants to go? The pawn wants to go f6. We have seen this. We have seen the exact same thing, check, and now start going towards this guy, whatever he does doesn't matter anymore. Check, fine, I'll go here. He goes up, but now what's the move, guys? What's the move? f6. I hope there is no confusion in the class. Okay, f6, because now you have to decide. Okay, you cannot make any moves now, because if you go here, I have rook g8. If you go here, I have rook h8. If you take the pawn, rook f8. If you do that, just anyone please unmute one time and tell me the answer.
Rook g8.
Rook g8, take and take. Okay, so I hope this is very, very clear that in the case of this, you have to exchange h with the g pawn. Don't make the mistake of doing this. If you do this, you won't be able to win this. Okay. Now, let's go to the next position. Again, so I will ask in the chat, all of you in the chat, tell me the first move from white. All of you in the chat. Now, here is when I want to ask you, personally to me, by the way, personally to me, not to everyone. I want everyone to answer me. White to play.
So what do we have to do?
White to play.
So we have to figure out the move?
Yeah. Arab, not to everyone. Those who are thinking of h5 are correct. Okay, because you want to go f6. That's what I want. I want to go f6. That's what I want. Because I've seen that, I know that in this position, if I'm having the extra f pawn, I will go f6, I'll win the game. If they don't take me, suppose if they say fine, I'll just repeat the position, and now they are even losing even in a better fashion, because now this happens. Okay, so this cannot happen. They have to react. They have to react, and after this we start pushing. One check, we'll go towards this side, check, and this cannot happen. Checks are going to stop, because we are going to go towards this side. Okay, suppose, let me ask you guys, I am trying to make my own queen. I am saying I want my own queen. I want to go h3, h2, h1, queen. Now you don't have much time. You don't have time here as white. Otherwise, I am making my own queen. So what do? You have to react right away. Right away.
So we should send the move in chat?
In the chat, yes, in the chat. Exactly. Good one. We go f6. And now, because we are not the first one to react, like in a defensive manner, we are fine. They are the first one to react in a defensive manner. Like they have to choose a decision now. Like whichever side they go, like we have already seen this. It's clearly winning. Okay, now what do we do? He says, fine, I still have some chances maybe. I still have some chances alive. I don't know, so fine, we say fine, you still have some chances alive. How about now? Okay, how about now? F7. They say here, but now I am having the queen. And if they go behind, remember the logics of chess. Okay, so I go here, there, check, and it's also one. Okay, it's over. I hope this position is clear to everyone in the class. Now this position. So now see, in such kind of positions, now this is a real time scenario. This is a real game scenario. And when you will be getting such kind of positions in your games, you have to, now there's a difference, if I can show you something like this, there's a difference here. And now why is it a difference? Let me just show you for a moment. Let me just go here. Suppose if this is the case, now the plan in this position will be different than the plan in this position. Okay, let's discuss both the things so that it becomes kind of interesting. Let's go here. We'll discuss both the things. Okay. Now the plan in this position is different from the plan in this position. It looks similar, but they are not same. Ideas will change in both the positions, and you have to remember it. Why am I saying to remember it? Because that's how theory works. Okay. So now see, in this position, look at the pawns. Can you see that the f6 is a backward pawn here? Because there's no pawn on the g7 square to support it. It means I can try to pressurize the f6 square. Not so in this case, because the g7 pawn is supporting f6 pawn. Focus on. Okay, so in this position I cannot pressurize the f6 pawn because the g7 pawn is there. f6 is not a backward pawn here. What is the backward pawn? The last pawn of the chain, correct? Now here I cannot pressurize on f6, but in this case I'll show you how will I pressurize on f6. Now see, my plan is first of all to bring the king all the way here. See, let him play the random moves. I'll go here, there. Let him keep playing the random moves. Actually check, and he cannot capture the pawn, guys, because of the very simple reason of the a7 pawn. He goes back. Let him play random moves. And now check and see. This time I'm having this kind of a shield. So whenever your king can hide in a shield, it's always safe. Okay, so now that gives a hint that we can jump. Okay, so now the point is I go here. Now this is the move I was talking about. Now why this is such a important move to play? Because I want to promote next move for a very simple reason. But there's a difference now. Wait. Actually, it's a mistake if I do that right away. So I go here. Okay, so you will be keep on checking here. And now you go here. And yeah, now I can just go here. So you have to go all the way back. A1. And in this position, you are threatening me a6 check actually. Actually, the idea I wanted to show you is this. Suppose if he captures, we go here. No, sorry. I wanted to go there because if he captures, I go check, take, and this is the position of king pawn endgame in which your opponent is under zugzwang. And now, as I was mentioning before, that f6 is weak because if the king goes away, h6 is gone. So suppose something like this happens. You want to continue? Anyone? How do we continue this? Now e5 is kind of weak. I don't know. Now e5 is kind of weak. f4. Shadar, that can lead to some troubles, Shadar. Now I'm having my pass pawn here. So what should we do in such kind of endgame? Remember the weakness. Try to understand the weak pawns and just attack them. Not f4. Not f4. And what about you? What do we play in this position? Anyone else?
So pawn takes pawn.
Now, King e6, good one, Adav. King e6. Because you have to find weaknesses, guys. If you do pawn takes pawn, then he does this, and if you go here, now I'll push it.
Sir, I was kind of just going to type it down.
King e6 is the move, because now you cannot.
I was going to type. Sir, I was just going to type down King e6,
Okay.
and then another student said.
No worries. So now after this, you're losing this, and we are already aware that in a king pawn endgame, a pawn up in multiple pawns is always a win. Always a win. Okay? Apart from the corner pawns, apart from the rook pawns. Anyways, now the point is my plan won't work in this case. Can anyone tell me why the plan is not working in this case? Black to move.
Because of the rook is going to capture the pawn.
Then we are winning. No, I've shown it. I've shown it already. If this happens, then this happens, and we are going to win the pawns.
Rook a6.
Rook a6 is the move. Very good. The reason is, suppose I go here, now you will capture me with check. Okay, and I don't have my plan working anymore. So the point is I go here now, and now you can capture it nicely, because now I don't have this plan working. Make sense? Okay, so let's go here. Now, how do we achieve it? Okay, so make sure, guys, before you do that, you have to first of all create e pawns or f pawns. Now I want some suggestions here. Okay, let's reach this position. Wait. Before we reach the position, I want you guys to show me how will you first of all create some of the extra pawns. You have to create pawns, only then you can make this plan working. So I can go something like g3. Now remember, this cannot happen because we go rook g8 and promote. Now whatever they do, I'm kind of fine. Check. Check. I'm happy with that. You know, you can keep giving me 100 checks. And now, once you escape, I go f4. You capture me, I capture you. Check. Check. I mean, you go back. How to create more pass pawns? Come on. How to create the pass pawns here? I don't want to move like rook a6 to happen again. So what do? How to create passed pawn here? Simple enough.
e5.
e5, pawn takes pawn, pawn takes pawn. And they say fine, let's try to play some more chess. So now what do we do?
Take pawn.
See, g pawn will never help you out. G pawn never helps. Remember.
Or e6.
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 e6. Never forget about these small details. Okay, checks from behind will start. No worries. Come back. Come back. It won't happen 100 like for very long, because now this is just lost. Okay, so they cannot give you random checks. So suppose they go here, back, We go e7 and now they're lost. Make sense? Don't waste your move for doing something like this. I don't want that because I'm knowing that G pawn will never help in this attacker's traffic. E pawn, okay, B pawn, C pawn, D pawn, E pawn, F pawn. Till here, these are the good pawns for you. G pawn and H pawns you don't want. I hope this is clear to everyone.
So A pawn?
A pawn we are already having, no? A pawn we are already having. Okay? So she focused. Alright? Clear to everyone? Okay. Now, coming back to the final position. And this is what I want you guys to show me how to again apply the same idea. I won't be saying anything at all. I don't want to help you guys here. Because Krishna kind of blundered a lot. Last Saturday it happened. So when I'm saying that you are going to receive it, it means you are going to receive this position. Just be prepared for it. That's my point. Okay. Now, if you have understood the attacker's traffic, I want to include one more concept. So should I include the concept? I hope it won't be confusing, or should I keep it for a different class? Should I give you more examples of attacker's traffic? What do you want?
So you can keep it for a different class.
You want more examples of attacker's traffic?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Hang on. Because I don't want you guys to get confused. And this is one of my favorite positions. Now you show me, oopsie, now this is again a very tricky position. It is white to play and hold the position. White to play and draw. Now, remember, when we are trying to draw the game, you want to exchange pawn. Now, which pawn do I want to exchange from their side? From black. Which of the black pawn I want to?
F pawn?
Exactly. Yes, correct. Good one. I have shown it that I don't care much about the G and H, but I'm very, very scared about this guy. So the moment he comes here, I'll just capture it. He will again capture me. Then what's going to happen? And maybe again I'll lose, isn't it? So let's see. So you have to understand these small subtleties. Suppose you start some checks. He says, I'll go here. I'll say, fine, you can play whatever you feel like. And suppose black plays this move. Now your turn, white to play here. How do you continue the position?
Check. Take the pawn.
You take the pawn. Pawn takes pawn.
Check. Check.
Check. Then okay. Like I want to see how you guys are reacting to this thing, because anyway the king is going to come forward.
So no, the other way.
Other way, okay. Anyways, I go here. Same thing is going to happen. So I want to see how you guys
So
are.
king F3.
King F3. A decent move, because there's no attack coming to you. Make sense?
Yes, sir.
Everybody, Arav suggested King F3. I like this move. Why this is a good move? Because there is no skewer, no Rook H1 technique is working now. Okay. Now suppose he says, all right, Arav, I'll go and push it. I will come here and then I will go here and then I will cut it. So you can play some checks. He will go back, checks. He goes here and now he says, fine, I want to push it. Now what do we do here, guys? What do we do here?
So king G4. So king G4.
King G, okay, dokie.
So take the F1.
You take whatever you feel like. I'm going to promote now. Okay, you cannot do that.
Take the F pawn.
Take the f pawn. Risky decision. Take the f pawn. I want to go here now. There's nothing happening. So king f4 is good. King f4 is good. Now you guys are kind of having ideas. Here, here, there. Can you please show me how will you draw it? Now this is very simple. This is like a piece of cake now.
So check.
What check? Forget about check. Just tell me, you just imagine you cannot give any checks. Forget about the checks. Now your king is close to the pawns. So why do you want to give him checks and bring it close to you?
Okay. King g4.
King g4.
King g4. So check.
And now?
So check.
Push the f pawn.
Push the f
So
pawn.
we can
Alright.
check.
This happens.
So we can check.
No need to give checks. That's what I'm saying, you know.
So king g3.
Yeah, because now this pawn is going to be kind of lost. He says, fine, you capture me, I capture you back. Let's have a deal. Let's have this kind of a deal.
Rook g2.
Oh. Careful, careful. Careful.
Sorry, I meant rook h2. Sorry.
Rook h2, okay, so you're trying to exchange everything and then you're trying to say that it's a draw. Okay, so it is kind of good. It is kind of correct. Now suppose instead of this, what if I go here? Now what is the difference now in the position? Is there any difference in the same position? No, there is no difference. So
So what to play here?
I want to kind of say that I will play Rook f2. You know, I want to play Rook f2 now. You have to make a move. You decide. I don't want to involve my Rook in exchange. Why will I
What
exchange
is
it?
left now?
I want to push
How
it.
much time?
10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes to stay. So I just want to push it. Making sense, Shadak? That I don't want to exchange my rook because I'm having this pawn. This rook is kind of not having much space to move. The moment it moves, wherever it wants to go, I just take this guy. You go here. Now finally I do what?
Take it with the rook.
Then takes and he comes up. We know theoretically it's a draw. So king g2. Guys, don't miss small things. He goes wherever he wants. I take this guy and now I am having at least something to play. Okay, I'm not saying this is a complete win, but this should be your approach because it keeps the best chance. You are still up a pawn. If black goes wrong, maybe we can convert it. And your rook is also behind the pawn, so it's good. Okay, but the main idea was to ask you guys how you guys are able to draw it. So you are kind of correct. You guys are kind of correct that you have to exchange f pawns as soon as possible. No need to give checks here. Hide on f3 and then try to take this guy. Okay, let me just try to support it. Now you go here, check. Make sense to everyone?
Yes.